Welcome to today's episode. Our guest is an accomplished actor and director, best known for his role as Tony Jones on the long running soap opera General Hospital. With a career spanning several decades, he has made significant contributions to the entertainment industry, showing his talents not only in front of the camera, but also behind the scenes. He's also my professor, ladies and gentlemen, Brad Maule.
Hey.
So, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm busy running around.
Yeah, I definitely did have class with you not too long ago. How'd you enjoy class today?
Yeah, I liked it. You were pretty funny.
Thank
I
you.
mean, really
I
funny.
appreciate
Because I
it.
haven't really watched that show that much, but it's so dry, and they say
Yeah,
such outrageous things. I liked it.
yeah, no, for real. I haven't really watched the Boondocks like that. And I feel like it's kind of a struggle because I don't really watch many things. Like I don't like people are like, "Oh, have you seen this movie?" I'm like, "No, I don't really watch
hmm
anything." Do you watch a lot of movies?
That's the weird thing. I was just sitting there thinking we probably have a lot in common because I like to perform, but I
Mm,
have very little interest in watching movies or TV. A lot of the students are just like they know everything, and I'm like, nope,
yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, like I guess I'm just not in the loop. It makes me feel kind of old sometimes because people are like, "Oh, you haven't seen this? It's really, really awesome." I'm like, "Nah, I have not." But speaking of being my professor in class, what made you want to go from a movie star to a professor at SFA?
Well, I don't think anything makes you do this. I was in Los Angeles for a long time on one show, and at some point, everything has an end to it,
Right.
and it was sort of coming to an end. You know that on a show when, as they say, you're not on the palette anymore. And I'd been on the show for 22 years,
Dang.
and and sorry, but I had a couple of Emmy nominations and stuff. I'd
Okay,
done all right.
okay, okay.
But the thing is, when it starts going down like this, and you start going out on other things, you walk into a casting office and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're Dr. Tony from General Hospital." So how are you going to be on another show? They don't say that, but how are you on another show when you actually they immediately recognize you for the character you've been for so long?
Yeah, I really understand that. And it kind of scares me to a point, like going into acting. Like, for example, I always bring up Tyler James Williams. You know who that is from Everybody Hates Chris?
Okay.
Um, he Everybody knows him from Everybody Hates Chris, and so I'm just like, I'm scared that that's gonna be what happens to me as I like get this role, and I'm like, yes, I got this big role. That's all anybody knows me from. But also, it's also a good thing because that means you like engraved in history this memorable character, I
Yeah.
guess. So
It's a choice you make, a Machiavellian kind of choice, because you can be a one hit wonder and make lots of money off of it.
mm,
But then also you could be like, no, I'm independent. I hope nobody ever recognizes me. And that's a very possible thing. And you'll be broke.
yeah, I'd
So
rather have a lot of
just
money.
let God take care of it. Just go out there and do your thing.
Yeah, no, for real though. But
I
what,
didn't want to be a teacher.
you didn't want to
But
be a teacher?
well, I didn't ever thought about it. All I could do was be an actor.
Right.
And so, but let me finish that other story.
Mm,
So, you know, when life is kind of over for you out in Los Angeles as an actor,
mhm.
your choice is to either bang your head against that wall or you can go somewhere else and disappear. A lot of actors disappear. And then life is still happening.
Right.
So I came out here and I'm like, they don't want me out there anymore. I'm forever Dr. Tony or whatever. So I came here and I thought, I fished for 30 days. I stayed with a friend of mine, Shirley Waterston here. And then I thought, then somebody actually helped me get a teaching job because I needed a job.
Mhm.
And then it was just amazing to realize that it, you realize how selfish you are as an actor a lot of times. And once I started teaching out here, you get so much back from people like yourself that want to be actors and want to learn from you. And
Mhm.
so it actually is a very rewarding thing, even though I didn't understand it at the time.
Right. It's kind of like just passing on the knowledge of what you had to go through. I, dang, it's kind of crazy because I may become a teacher or something like that after my acting career because I would love to just like give back to like the newer generation and like help bring them up. Because when I was in like high school and like grade school and whatever, I didn't really have that person to like make me want to do this. I kind of was just like, I'm not good at anything else, so I'll just do this. But I didn't really have that like leader to push me
Yeah.
to go to where I really wanted to go. Because I really was thinking before college was, yeah, I just want to do theater. I'll be on the stage. I didn't really know what film was. I was just like, oh, there's movies. That's cool, I guess. But
Yeah.
I never really thought, oh, wait, I can actually like be in movies if I like worked hard at it, which is crazy to me. And hopefully I get there. If you guys see me whenever I'm famous, remember this. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it though. So,
It's
because
really cool.
sometimes I really do think that like I'm not good, but then I'm just like, if I'm not good, then I really wouldn't be here. So it's humility, but also confidence. I guess I gotta have confidence, but also be humble about things because I'm not just gonna say I'm like the best actor in the world, but it's just like I don't want to bring myself down. Of like, yeah, I'm not good, but
We all have imposter syndrome.
yeah. Could you tell us about an early acting experience that you had?
Yeah, I mean, do you mean like first acting experience or well, here, it's come to me actually.
Hmm.
I was in my freshman year in college and I got in a Greek Antigone. Just a very classic kind of thing, which was foreign to me. And I just remember going on stage and going up on my lines and the it was the horrible humiliation of standing there. There were maybe, it was a tiny theater, so there was probably 30 people sitting out there, but there might as well have been 30 million sitting out there. And I was just like mortified. I don't know how long it went. Like I went up for maybe a second or 5 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was hours long of humiliation standing on that stage, just going. And to this day, and that's been a long time ago, it still sticks in my memory a lot.
Yeah, nah. I feel like the bad memories always stick in my head. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, I choked so hard on this. And I feel
Oh,
like that's what people
oh,
really see. Because it really sucks. Like, you do like great things, and then you like get like a standing ovation. Okay, cool. But if you do one bad thing,
yeah.
brother, oh my gosh, you get raked through the coals for like weeks. I'm like, dude, no, that's hard. But no, I feel like it is kind of good to like start off like I guess you could say being humbled or whatever, because like I feel like if I really went into something and I like got this big role, like when I came here freshman year, I got a main stage and I thought I was like the shit around here, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized like I'm not. I'm really not. So it is. I feel like it's good to like have those bumps in the road just to know that you're human still, which I like. I like the bumps in the road.
You have no choice. The bumps are there.
Yeah, the bumps are always there. No
If
matter how
you're,
much you like pave it out, it's still gonna
no,
show up. Or
even if your life is really smooth and you just became a star, behind the scenes, there's lots of bumps in your road. And, I think about people that we sort of celebrate people being successful and then we celebrate their downfall, whether it's Britney Spears or Michael Jackson or Elvis Presley or whatever. But those are some of the loneliest people in the world, too.
exactly, I feel like celebrities are really lonely because it's just like
A
if
lot
you
of them are.
yeah, if you because I'm scared to become a celebrity. I really want to, but I feel like once I get there, I'm gonna be like, well, what do I do now? Like I
Well, you
just
need to surround yourself with people that care about
yeah. Thank you for being here for
you, and
me.
also keep his head down in the out of the clouds. Keep him reality based.
Yeah, she's gonna make sure to do that. She's like, "You ain't that good." I'm like, "What, yo?" Um, so what? Okay, so I was in the feature film, and that audition process was I really just was like, "Hey, I want to do this," and like, okay, here's a slate, or here's a is that what it is? A slate, or like the little piece of paper with the lines on it?
Aside,
Aside, yeah, I always get that slate and side. Yeah, aside. And they give me one of those, and there's like, okay, here's one of the actors that's going to be in it, and I did it, and they're like, okay, we'll just call you or text you if we don't, you didn't get it.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, so what was the audition process for you to get General Hospital?
Oh, that is a strange story. There was a show called the American Music Awards, which was kind of like the Academy Awards or whatever. It was Roger Moore, who was James Bond at the time. He was the host of it. David Frost was the producer, and I didn't know anything about it. But my agent, uh, that the day of the rehearsal of the actual taping of the show, this is in Los Angeles. The well, I'll just go ahead. Andy Gibb, who was the younger brother of the Gibbs brothers,
Mhm.
he was the person singing a nominated song. He didn't show up,
Oh, oh,
and he had some personal problems in his life or whatever. But he was just a no-show. They'd
uh,
already recorded the orchestra for the song.
mhm.
It was a nominated song. It was Arthur's theme at the time, which was a huge hit all over the country at the time. Christopher Cross, and my agent was one of the people, agency people on that show, because I was with a really large agency, William Morris Agency at the time. And he said, I have a young person, a young actor who can sing, and he can do this in a pinch, because they didn't have time to get anybody else. And they said, well, bring him down here and let's see, because we got no choice. So if Andy had showed up, they would have bumped me right out.
Dang.
But he called me and he said, "Do you think you can do this?" And I said, "Absolutely, I can do this."
Yes.
And and he said, "Well, you have no time for rehearsal or anything." I said, "It's a hit song on the radio. I can learn it. I can do it." So I went down there. I went out and met the director. They had me sing to the track of the orchestra that had already been recorded, same key that I could sing in. I sang the song. They were like, whatever, let's do it. We got no choice.
Okay.
So they blocked me. The director said, you go down here from the back of the theater in Los Angeles. We'll start you here, and the audience will be out there, and you go to this seat and you sing to this person, first verse. Then you go down to the front row and you sing to this person. Then you come up on stage. We end the song and it's done. Easy peasy. I said, okay. We rehearsed it. I did it. Then they took me in the back, and it's still sort of dreamlike for me at that moment, because I was just like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
And they put me in an usher's tux because they didn't have time to get me a wardrobe or anything like that. And I sat in that little back room, like a little dressing room there at the Palace Theater, which is was close to Capitol Records and all that stuff in Hollywood. And somehow or another, I just, certain things are meant for you in destiny, and you just do not question destiny.
Right.
So it got time. They called me to my places. I looked out, I was in the back of the theater, and I looked out, and it was a full crowd. And just imagine like Academy Award type people, like famous people sitting out there, all in their jeweled and tuxes and gowns and all this stuff. And the stage manager, who was a lady back there with me, she goes, "Man, what are you going to do if you forget your words?" And here comes Antigone in my head, you
Yeah.
know. And and I said, "Oh, we'll just stop tape and I'll just go back and do it again." And she goes, "Honey, this is live."
Oh,
And I was
nah.
like, "What?" And and at that moment, the music came on. She goes, "You're on." And so,
Yeah.
in a dream, like I walked out, and once in your life you'll find her, and I
Oh,
was
okay.
singing,
Vocals.
you know, and I went to the first chair, and to this day I don't remember who the person was that I sang to in that chair, but it was a very, very famous person. Like there were big stars in the audience, and I guess I just blanked out at that moment. But then I did that part of it, and then I walked on down the aisle, and I turned around on the front row, and there was Vanessa Redgrave, which was a major actor,
Okay.
and
Okay.
who knows? I don't know. I mean, it might have been Lynn Redgrave, but I think it was Vanessa. But anyway, I sang the rest of my song. Oh, and one thing I forgot to tell you in the beginning, before I came out,
Mhm.
Roger Moore came on stage and he goes, "In the great tradition of the show must go on, here's a young man that no one's ever heard of. Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Maule." So I was being introduced by James Bond, and I was like, "Ooh, this is incredible."
No, that's cool.
So
Like
anyway, I
that.
finished the song, got up on stage, everybody clapped. I went backstage. David Frost, who was a big deal at the time, he was like, "Brad, you're a star. It's the Hollywood dream." And I was like, "I am," because I was pretty young.
Wow.
And wow. And they put me in a limo, and probably the first limo I'd ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And so, they took me to Chasen's, which was an incredibly famous restaurant, like, quintessential restaurant in
Mhm.
Hollywood. And people think I'm lying, but I'm not. I walked in, Jimmy Stewart, Betty Davis, all these people were standing there clapping and telling me, like, "Good job, good for you." And I was like, just sort of
Starstruck.
freaked out,
Yo.
you know. And then there was a whole maybe 2 hours that I was there, like eating and talking and stuff like that. I have absolutely zero memory of that moment. Like it's like I had done what I needed to do, and then I just dreamt through the rest of the evening or something. And then when
Gosh.
it was time to go home, they put me in the limo again, and literally it turned out my apartment was across the street from Jason's restaurant. So
Mhm.
Doheny and Beverly in Beverly Hills. So they literally did a U turn and dropped me off.
Bro.
I went inside my $150 a month apartment, you know, and went to bed, you know, got up the next morning, was doing laundry. I was like, did that happen? You
Is this
know?
real? Chat.
And about 10 a.m. that morning, my agent called me and he said, "Gloria Monty from General Hospital saw you on the show last night, and she thinks you might be right for a role on General Hospital."
Dude. Okay.
So it was
Okay.
complete accident that she
Mhm.
happened to turn on the TV at that moment. And there's a longer story in all this because it was just to come in and audition. I went in and auditioned, and the casting guy said, "I don't know why they called you in because we want a 20-year-old for this role. We want a 20-year-old singer." And I think I was 29 or 30 at the time, and had been out in Los Angeles for 10 years working or trying to work, done some stuff. And so I was like, well, whatever. It was a good time while we had it. Then the next day they called me back in again to read. And then the next day, and I did it like 4 times. And each time I went in, the casting guy was like, "I don't know, I don't understand it because you're not right for this role." And then they had me screen test. And so I screen tested. Um, and then they offered me not the role, which was Frisco on General Hospital. They said, "We're going to create the role of a brother. So you're going to become his big brother." So
Okay.
it was a role that wasn't even written, but they used it.
Mhm.
and the rest is history. And 22 years later, I woke up and was still on the show. So
Gosh, dude, I don't know.
I
Like,
didn't even watch soaps. I didn't know anything about them, but you just
nah,
don't know where life's going to take you.
nah, I've never. Well, I mean, I've probably watched soap operas, but didn't know that they were soap operas. My grandma would watch.
Yeah, well, that's
She'd be
my
like, "I'm
audience,
putting
right? Your
on."
grandmother's my audience.
Hey, I mean, did you did you when you became like famous, did you like have like a lot of fans? Like, did you like interact with fans and everything?
Mhm.
Do you like have like a memorable like experience that you had with a fan? Because I hear like
Yeah.
celebrities say like, "Oh, these fans are crazy" or whatever.
Well, 99% of fans are just like really cool people, nice, wonderful people that just happen to watch a show. There is a 1% that's, a little freaky.
Yeah.
But I have I have some memories like the guy that played my brother on the show, Jack Wagner. He was a teen idol famous person. And I remember him being in concert at the Universal Amphitheater one night. And I was just there just to watch the show. But security had to bring me out because people were freaking out. The very fact that I even knew this person, that he was my brother. So that
Right.
was a weird kind of Beatles
Mm.
sort of, you know, kind of thing in a small, tiny way.
Mm.
Uh, but then I got a fan letter from a person with the keys to a Rolls Royce.
Yo,
And I was
let me
like,
hold those
that's what I said.
keys.
I was like, yeah, what is this about? But the letter said, would you please give these keys to one of the actresses on the show? Because I'm in love with her. And I was like, wait a minute. So you're sending me keys for somebody else? I'm calling the police because this was a kind of a freaky thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, you get some weird stuff.
Nah, I don't know. If someone handed me keys to a Rolls Royce, I would be happy with that. That's it. Even if I didn't drive it,
I
just
don't
as
know.
long as I held the key, I think I would be set with my life. Um, so 22 years, that's a long time being on a show.
Past in a day.
Hey, I mean, did you did you have like any struggles? Like what was like one of those like struggles that you like had to go through working on like a soap opera? Um,
Well, in 22 years, you're going to have good days and bad days. Um, I mean, there was, we got married, I had kids, I had marriage troubles, I had good times, bad times, and I don't know. Overall, I look at it as like what a wonderful, lucky thing I was. And the weird thing is that like most people, I had an opinion about soap operas. I came to Los Angeles on a dream. I wanted to be a movie star. Well, I also wanted to eat. And so here I am. I'm on a soap opera. I'd never watched them. It was not my thing, really. But when you're there and when you're performing, and I try to tell this to my students, um, I never thought, oh, this is the bad show business or this is not good acting. Every day that I went there, I honestly felt like I was doing, the best show in the world.
mm,
Because when you're in the moment, you're just like, hey, it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're truthful and honest and you're really trying,
right,
which I later learned was a great lesson for for you as an actor. Because if I had approached it as snobby and like, oh, this is bad acting, well, then you would have been a bad actor on it. You would have
right,
proven your point.
hmm,
So you need to learn to understand where you are in this moment and do the best job you can. And if you are judgmental about something that you're doing as an actor, you need to man up and get off of it.
right,
If you can't handle it, then you need to prove that you're a lot better actor than you think you are or we think you are.
yeah, for
So
real,
it's my
shoot.
opinion.
But I mean, okay, you said that you got married and like had kids and everything. So one of my biggest fears, like going into, I wouldn't say Hollywood because I'm probably not gonna go to Hollywood. That's expensive. Uh, but traveling, doing shows and or like acting and everything, but in a relationship, like is that hard? Like how do you like manage that? Because like you're really busy, like multiple hours a day, and it's like just being in the feature film was hard. I was like, yo,
Yeah. Well, your choice is I didn't manage it well. I
oh,
didn't. There's no instruction book on how to handle those kind of things. Um, but looking back, I loved what I did. I'm so lucky that I fell in love. I'm so lucky that I had my children. So life has a way of working out. The other option would have been that you give everything to your career and you end up a very lonely person. So those are
mm-hmm.
your choices. You can either handle it and have, we're social creatures. We're meant to have love in our life. We're meant to partner up with people and to procreate, I believe. And, you know, those are your, I mean, it's to me, a terrible choice to say, I'm an island. I'm just going to go through life and I just want to be a star. Well, what a real surface level life you're living.
Yeah, like that's
You need to
it.
get down and dirty and love and procreate and be a,
Yeah, be
a
human.
complete human if you
Yes,
can,
like have that human experience, the human experience, or
both good and
whatever.
bad.
Exactly. You can't just avoid bad things from happening.
And there's redemption for everyone.
Hmm.
So,
Dang. So I was doing a little research, and it says that you're a musician. Like you dabble in some music.
well, that's the way I made my living
Hmm.
before. I'm not a musician, and the way to tell that is when I go in the studio, they unplug my guitar.
Oh,
Okay, so that's a
okay,
good clue.
okay.
When they're like, "Hey, Brad, we're just going to unplug you. You just do your thing." Okay, but I write songs. I've recorded. You know, it's iffy because I probably have 5 albums, but I actually have two that I'm really proud of, and I've done some compilation albums and stuff, but
Okay.
I've written Living It Up, which was one album, and then Chameleon, which is another album that
Yeah.
I wrote the whole album, recorded it, and did all that stuff.
Yo, that is so cool. I would love to do music. Like so you can like play like multiple instruments
No, I'm
or
a
just
guitar
guitar?
player,
Just a
but
guitar.
but unplugged in the studio. I'm not.
Unplugged guitar player and unplugged
Yeah,
guitar player.
unplugged means a completely different thing in my case.
Oh my gosh. Would you like to like explain like your songwriting process? Because I tried to write a song back like a while ago and that did not work out well. That did not work.
Songwriting is therapy,
Hmm.
and I wrote what I knew, what I'm feeling. Wasn't necessarily all in, like there's some kind of songwriters like people that, I don't know, this is probably old school to you, but like somebody like Neil Sedaka. He went into a studio and he knew exactly, like, verse, chorus, the kind of structure of songwriting.
Hmm.
And he was maybe 16 years old when he started, and he could just play that stuff, and you put a hook in it so that people want to listen to it and they want to dance and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Mine was more like late at night going, I'm lonely. I'm
Yo.
so lonely, you know. And strangely enough, some people like that.
Yeah,
It's
some people
enough to get
gravitate towards
a
that. Yeah.
recording out of.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do listen to music like that. I'm lonely or something like that. I
That's
should
what
write
most
that.
songs are about. Like,
Yeah, either that or just sex. I don't know. That's what most songs are about. But so the question I have, which I guess me growing up, I am kind of scared of like how did you stay like inspired with like your career and everything? Because I was like set on being a theater actor, and now I don't like theater anymore. So it's just like, is it just what you're made to do, or is it like how do
well,
you
I
know?
personally think in this day and age, you need to do it all. If there was a time when there was a caste system, you were a movie star, TV star, soap star, kid show star. Same way you were on Broadway, off Broadway, down, 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 down. Nowadays, you can be Miley Cyrus, and you can be a music star and movie star and all kinds of things. So
Right.
the the world has opened up. So I would not put yourself in the box of saying, well, theater's not working out for me, so I just am not meant for it. I would just, it's not meant for you at this moment. But talent is talent. You know, you can adapt to all those environments, and don't limit yourself in that way.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to someone that's wanting to like start a career in film and acting and everything?
Well, okay. First of all, it's called show business.
Mm.
So it's wonderful that you have talent. It's incredible if you have discipline and work ethic. Because I've seen people become stars that have work ethic and not that much talent. And I've seen other people that have a lot of talent that somebody else comes along and does all the work for them. So that's, I don't know how you, that's just the way destiny goes sometimes. But first thing you do is you need to think about where is the business that I want to be in. So if you think that you're going to move to, Lufkin and be a movie star, you're putting a lot of obstacles in your way.
Right.
So the movie industry, or theater for that matter, is Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Chicago. Sometimes, well, really, there's other places where they film movies, but if you want to be in the business,
Mhm.
you really, and really discounting Chicago and Atlanta too, there's two places, which is Los Angeles or New York. Now that's changing some, but most of the time they're going to cast out of the leads out of those areas, and then they're going to fly you to Atlanta where you're going to be in your movie.
Yeah.
So don't, I mean, you can get parts in Atlanta, you can get them in Austin. There's lots of places you can get a part in,
Mm.
but the stars are really coming out of Los Angeles. The big guns coming out of there. So you're going to have to take a deep breath and dive in the deep pond.
Yep, Los Angeles it is. We're going. Uh 30 minutes? Okay. Let's see. So how did you how did you like take criticism and like feedback uh
Poorly.
poorly? You because I'll like take it and I'll smile, but I'm like, man, they don't know what they're talking about.
That's
I'm
exactly
great.
correct. They don't know what they're talking about because they don't know you.
Exactly.
Um,
I'm like, dude, like, come on,
I've
bro.
had, all that ever did to me was stiffen my spine.
Mm.
Even when I was in school at a certain university, the head of the particular department I was in told me when I was graduating, said, listen, you don't have it. You are, I'm just trying to help you here, son, but you're too sensitive. You're just not right. You're not tough enough to be in real show business. And I said, you were what in professional show business? A stage manager at one point for a summer stock theater? A couple of not very nice words came in my head, and I was like, I'll show you.
That's what
And
I'm
that
saying.
person gave me, they didn't, maybe they knew it, maybe they didn't, but they gave me inspiration because I was like, we'll see about that.
Yeah, prove them wrong. Well,
Yeah.
that's how I
Don't
feel.
ever, most of the time when people give you uh, negative information, it's because they're jealous and they want you to fail somewhere
Yeah,
in their deep little shadowy heart.
exactly.
So if they don't give you positive feedback, or if you can be criticized, but the person criticizing has to have a solution to that problem.
Hmm.
Just telling you that you're not any good without telling you why you're not any good and what to do about it is a personal problem they have.
Right. Yeah. That's why I can never like I can't bring people down. Like I can only like bring people up because it's just not right. Like it's just what do you get out of that? Just telling people, yeah, you're bad. Like Okay, well
Okay.
then, like what does that give me? That doesn't help me at all. So that is what it is. Do you have you stayed in contact with people that you worked with
Hmm.
like on General Hospital?
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, I'm at that age where, like, they're dying.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
unfortunate. Yeah.
so that's a different thing. But yes.
So how do you how did you maintain your like I guess like what was your like day to day? Like were you like always busy and just like rushing everywhere, or was it just like a oh I did this and then
Do you mean in the prime of your career or in the beginnings of
I
your
guess
career?
beginning like just um like I guess your career in a whole.
Well, early on in your career, you know, you you can just lay around, as long as you got money to live on, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't have that luxury.
Oh,
So, I mean, in my day, when I got there to Los Angeles, you have a little routine. Like I had to get an apartment, I had to eat. So, I was, uh, I established those little routines, but in between that, I had to find, like, how do you get a job here? Well, in my day and age, a long time ago, they had Variety and Hollywood Reporter, which were trade magazines.
mm,
And you'd look in the back and it'd say audition for, and these were little tiny things, but there were still auditions. Nowadays, it's all on the internet, it's
yeah,
different.
social media.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, most people come to Los Angeles, New York, they become a waiter, they have their little friends, and they think they're in show business, but they're actually a waiter. That's what you are, you
Hmm.
know.
Right.
And so there's a very big difference between your survival job and also getting busy in the morning and going out and looking for your career. And so, I come from work background, so I wasn't always perfect, but I was busy and
Mm.
I was putting resumes out there, meeting people in the industry, trying to figure out the mechanics of getting a job and taking away as many obstacles from myself as I could.
Mhm.
Um, that's what you do. Later on in your life, there's people taking care of you. Literally, when you become a sort of a celebrity, it's a good and bad yin and yang kind of thing. There are people that literally call you and wake you up in the morning. They tell you where you're going. They pick you up in a car. They take you to a studio. They already have clothes for you. So they
Exactly.
dress you in ways that you would have never done yourself. They put makeup on you. They push you out on stage. Then they pick you up, take you home. And you become kind of a little bit spoiled and mindless because you're
Mm.
accustomed. You get home and your kids are like, no, you're just dad, so get down and get busy and play with us, or stuff. So those realities, like, it can go to your head, like, are you kidding? Everything's, take care of me kind of thing. It's a
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
gonna be me.
terrible, terrible thing to happen. Does
Yeah.
he do that? Is that what happens?
Yeah, she better take care of me. um, nah,
So, but you need to stay in the real world as much as possible.
yeah, nah. I'm definitely gonna remember like where I've come from and what I've
No, you
been.
won't. No, you won't.
Yeah, well, I always think about that. Like I'm like it because without, especially being adopted, like if that didn't happen, I really wouldn't be here. So it's just uh, it's it's kind of just like I don't get why people just like forget about where they came from because like if that didn't happen, you would not be where you're at today. So it's just, but I probably won't forget all that. I'll be like, yeah, I got money now,
No,
yay.
no, you'll have your bad moments, but
Yeah, no,
you're a
for real.
you're a nice, soulful, good-spirited fellow.
Hey, don't hype me up too much, bro. Don't hype me up.
Well, I'm sorry,
Uh,
but you are.
I mean, I try. I really believe in um, give respect to get it, and uh, just be a good, genuine person, um, which is cool. I mean, I feel like that is a good quality that I have because connections is a big thing, especially in film and everything. Um, did you did you like have that like best friend when you're working together, like working on set and everything?
One of my biggest downfalls is I was not a good networking person. I didn't throw dinner parties. I'm more of a little bit more of a solitary kind of person, and that didn't help my career any at all. And I also have a little bit of a prickly side to me
Berkeley said.
where, if somebody said something wrong, I was like, well, fine, uh, which they don't give you jobs when you're a little prickly like that
Yeah.
sometimes. So I could have done a lot better at it. Anything that went wrong in my career is my fault.
Mhm.
It flat is.
Yeah. It's just
Even now they tell me that my resting face looks like I'm angry at the world, and I'm like, I'm just funny, I'm just kidding. But
like
they don't, you know,
they don't see that. They
they
just
don't see,
like,
they just see this grumpy old man.
man, I mean, shoot. I think you're pretty great. I think you're pretty great. Like class is hilarious. Um, so do you think, well, do you think it's easier now to become like a celebrity, with like social media and everything? Like, do you think
It's always,
it's
it's
always
always
hard?
been hard. The It changes. The good part right now is that you don't have to be that little Ken doll in a box kind of thing. And there
Mhm.
was that period in the 50s and stuff where they wanted everybody to fit a certain stereotype, little
Right.
square jaw, skinny, perfect looking, whatever.
Mhm.
Now, the world of entertainment is completely open to you. You can be nerdy, you can be anything.
Right.
And even back then, they had boxes for you to fit in. Now, it's just one big box, which makes it so lucky. You can be anybody, anything, anyway, and still become famous. And that's a wonderful advantage that you have maybe over other people.
Yeah. I I think it's like I don't really know what I want to do. I don't know if I just want to like do commercials, just like the little stuff, but still make money, or if I just go all the way.
Why would you
And
not go all the way?
because it's just like it's like what you said earlier. It's like it's kind of sad. Like it's just I have all this money and fame, but it's like is that really?
You have no control over that,
Yeah,
though.
it's like at that point I just become like a servant to the audience. At that
Well,
point, it's
and
just
and you're young, but you're sort of missing the point, really, because if you will just be an actor, be truthful
mhm,
in what you do, then the world will come to you and you'll be surprised. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm a movie star. Oh my gosh, I'm a soap star. Or oh my gosh, I'm doing commercials. Or oh my gosh, I'm doing everything. But, when I used to fly every weekend almost, flight attendants were notorious for coming and saying, oh, I want to talk to you about show business because I only work 2 weeks out of the month and I'm going to start with commercials. So I'm going to do a couple of commercials and then I'll fly and then I'll eventually be a movie star. And I'm like, okay, I'm sitting in my seat on the plane and I'm like, I want to be a senator and I'd like to be president. And they're like, that's impossible. That won't happen. You're on a soap. And I'm like, same goes for you.
dang.
You know, you need to, if you're an actor, be an actor.
Mm,
But it's really hard to be a flight attendant and an actor. It's not going to work that way. So
yeah.
you're going to have to, you know, quit your job, move to Los Angeles and stuff. And then they
Yo,
stopped
it's
serving me. It was weird. I don't know what happened.
yeah. There's like you know what,
Yes, screw him.
but not. I film. The entertainment industry is really scary because what we were talking about in class is like I because I have a job right now, but I want to do acting, but I have to travel to do that. So I have to quit my job. But if I quit my job, I don't have money. But then I start getting money from this acting, but it's not enough money because I have to pay rent. And oh, I gotta get a union, but I have to be in work to get a union, but I can't get a union if I don't work. So I'm just like, I don't really
Well,
know what to
if
do
it
at that
was
point.
easy, everybody would be in show
I
business.
guess.
We'd all be a Kardashian,
Oh
but we're
heck
not.
no! I would never be a Kardashian.
He
Yo,
says,
but hey, if you want to
just
sponsor me though,
yeah,
you can.
just wait till he's Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua Jameson. I'll have a BBL. I'll
You'll
get
be
all those.
doing TikTok videos, flying your hair around.
Exactly. I'll be drinking mimosas on the beach or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Nah, that'll be fire. What's our time on there? 45. Okay, let me see. What other questions do I have for you, Brad? Oh, are there any like roles that you wish that you could have done? Like, is there like a dream role that you wish that you could have like? Oh, like I could have done this character, I would have done it.
Almost anything that you know, Leonardo DiCaprio, those people that are so Daniel Day Lewis, those people are so lucky and so talented. You
Mhm.
know, gosh, you want everything. You know,
Yeah.
I was I first of all, sorry, my get hoarse, but I tried to explain to people the very fact that you can go to school with the dream of being an actor brings you into 1% of the world because there's, how many people are in this world, not just this country, but in this world.
Hmm.
Most of them can't eat. Most of them don't really have good clothing or a place to sleep at night. And you have everything and the ability to chase a dream.
Hmm.
So you're already in the 1%.
Right.
And you should just somehow or another have perspective to thank your lucky stars that you're in that case. And then you can go out and you have the ability to pursue a dream which puts you in a 0.00000.1%. And then if you become a star. So, you know, we just need to be grateful for where we are and
Hmm.
celebrate it and be present in this moment. And it's I'm not saying things I've done. It's saying things that I wish that I had known back then.
Right.
Because most of us either live in the past or we live in the future, which neither one are real.
Right. Yeah.
It's the present.
Exactly.
You were born an orphan, but you're not an orphan.
Mm.
If you hang on to that, and I'm not saying you have to get rid of it, but if you hang on that your whole point in life is that I'm an orphan, it will, that scar will remain with you. It'll be better if somehow or another in your life as you go on, you say, this is a wound that I have inside me for whatever reason, but accept it, put it out there, admit to it, and then move onward from it. It's hard for me to explain, but the shallowness that we have, the wounds that we have, the hurts that we have in life, and everybody has them, the more you acknowledge them and then bring them back inside you, they become more like armor. They become like a strength rather than a weakness. So everything that you in the dark of night think that is your weakness actually can be put back on as a strength that you have to get you through the tough times in life.
Yeah.
So maybe you were a child that was lucky enough that some other family brought you up,
Mhm.
but my gosh, what empathy you have for other people that have struggled in life, that their parents didn't love them or their parents didn't know how to love them. And that's a strength that you'll have empathy for other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that. that is one of my biggest traits that I have, and that people tell me, that I it could always be worse. Like I really like the way I grew up. I had a great childhood, and it could have been way worse. And so there are people out there that have it worse, and so it's like it's not really. I don't really have the right to be like my life sucks or whatever because it doesn't. Like it really could be worse
But
than.
it's better to be honest with yourself and just say, you know what? It's all relative. So Joshua, I know I have had it better than a lot of people, but I still hurt, you
Mhm.
know? And when you're honest about that kind of stuff with yourself, you don't have to tell the world about it. It it becomes like an energy that attracts people to you. They're like, something's different about that person. Something's kinder, something's nicer. There's just some energy that you bring into you. And
Mhm.
so use it in a positive way rather than an anchor that holds you down.
Yeah. Dang. Brad with the wise words. Oh my gosh. But all right. That's all the questions I have for you today. Do you have anything else you want to say, or anything for the camera, anything for the audience that's probably not watching?
Well, yeah, you just watch this kid. He's going to do all right.
Yeah. Sorry from the
He's
bottom.
going
Now
to
we're
do all right.
here. You already know. All right. Well, I thank you, Brad,
Thank you.
for coming on this podcast and talking with me. Uh, yeah. I don't really know. This will probably be up in like 2 days or whatever, or something like that. But yeah, I thank you,
Thank you.
and I had fun. This was great.
And I
This was
appreciate
great.
your crew here.
Yes, awesome. Yeah,
You know,
helping out.
hey, nobody pushes the on button like a good crew person. So,
Exactly. Because I'm here. You're helping out. Thank you. I
anyway,
appreciate
thank you guys.
it. Thank you.